Hello and welcome back to Hearts Wide Open, the men's health podcast. It's me, Dennis. I am back after the new year. This is my first episode since we started 2025. And today I'm here with a very exciting guest, which I'm going to introduce in a second. Thanks for tuning in to redefine what it means to be a man together with us. If you're a fan of the show, please make sure to subscribe and follow us on our socials. This really helps us enhance the voice around men's health. I have here a very amazing guest that I've been looking forward for a long time to interview. I'm actually really nervous to have you on as well. His name is Ruan. He's a really good friend of mine. He's a Brazilian. He's a HR expert, I would say, director. And I've been actually staying with him here in Brazil for a couple months now. And it's our last week. We're together in Recife. He's been the most amazing host to me and a good friend.
Thanks for having me. I'm really happy as well to be here.
We met 2016 for the first time. We managed to also maintain a friendship over such a long distance, even with little contact. And I think that's also my first question to you. What do you think makes a good friendship, or how is it possible to have these type of long-lasting relationships with someone?
Long distance relationships are actually pretty hard when you are thinking about managing it. So whenever I think that I want to keep people close, it's much more about not trying to control it and much more about how you set the foundation for this contact. So when we met some of also other friends that I don't see for a long time, I think that we were pretty connected and not in a sense of only to be friends, but we were connected through a more purposeful thing. And this just got us closer to our inner selves and got us closer to something that goes beyond our daily routine and stuff like that. So it was kind of deep. When we separated, when we got distant, we were not putting effort in order to manage this relationship, because there was just trust that what we lived was good, and it was pure, and it was nice, was genuine. So whenever I think about managing long distance relationships, I think that the secrets about that, it's not to manage. You were the person that I really care about. You are the person that I'm really happy to welcome in my house and to introduce to my family, to welcome you back in my life after these years. And in such a sense, let's be honest, we didn't get in touch that much. So it was once in a year, maybe sometimes not even that. But somehow when we met, it was the feeling didn't change. And for me, the clear answer for that is we planted the seed in a sense, it was pure, genuine, and honest. This core doesn't change. So that's why we keep friends after this long period of time. I think so.
For me, it's really two things. One is an experience that you went through together, and it should be an experience where you could really see the other person, beyond the state of being of today, and really their essence, what you said. And I think morals and values and these type of things, they might change a little bit, but they don't change completely. So you kind of know the essence of a human being. And I find this. Thanks so much for your answer, because I really see it in a very similar way, and I think it's maybe not zero effort, but you also have to be realistic, when you're sitting on different continents, and you're different time zones, all this different lifestyles, whatever. So it's gonna be very hard to keep in touch on a weekly basis or something like that. And then once it feels forced, I think it also becomes less enjoyable. But when it just flows natural, it's just so nice. And I think it can also differ with relationships with different friends. So for example, your friends here in Brazil, I think it's very different the way you manage those relationships. I also met a lot of your friends here who are lovely people, and I'm really impressed by the amount of love and how close you are, and the amount of love you show to each other, the way you like act with each other, the way you got each other's backs and trust each other blindly. What's your advice on these type of relationships?
I would not say I'm a family person. I would say I am a friends person. Okay. I'm very bad in managing my relationships in general. So what was the way that I managed to have it, like to be present? Because it's not that there is zero effort, but there is willingness to be real, to be together, to be present. And when I'm present, I am present. Okay? But here I made my friends from different groups become friends between them. So they are all friends of each other. So the friends that you met, like, so I have friends that were like from when I was back in university. I have friends that it was like from the time of my fraternity. I have friends from my city, and like, it's very different groups. And since I am always looking for some like people that kind of complement myself, and I'm looking like, as you said, like we connect through their values, and they kind of connect with each other as well. And it was easier to put them in the same group. And somehow it's easier for me to manage this group as well, because then I don't have to manage like 5 groups of friends. I have one big group of good friends. And since they are friends between each other, it's like a little bit less of time that I actually need to invest on the daily basis, okay? Because we are all connected. And since, for example, I talk to one of my friends about something and I forget to talk about this with the other, for sure they talk between them, and everybody's like keeping updated about what's going on and so on. So I think that in my case here with my friends in Brazil, this was one thing. Something very important. I am the type of person that I live the moment. So when I was in Croatia, when we met and so on, I was still friends with these people. And the same amount that I am now, if I had a problem, I would call them, they will do whatever they can. You saw how they act towards me and we act towards each other. I was not talking to them every day like I do it here, you know? So sometimes I would stay like 1-2 months without talking to them. Nowadays, since we have like a pretty similar routine. Some of them work with me, some of them live close to me. It's easier also to connect in the daily basis. When I was there, I was investing more time talking to you than investing more time to talking to them. It's about to live like the reality that you are at. One thing that one great friend of me that you also met, Ana Julia, that she said, like, when you are here, try to not live Brazil's life. Live the life here, like in Croatia. And that's what I did. So I was there, I was living the life with people that were there, sharing the moment with people that were there. People that were in Brazil were in Brazil. And now it's the same thing. So I'm living my life with people that are here and not trying to live a life like following through your routine, through your daily basis. So whenever you need me, I'll be available. I mean, it might take 1 or 2 weeks to reply on WhatsApp, but that's not about the distance. I do it with my friends from Brazil as well. But I am the type of person that I know that when you need me, I will be available, okay? So I think that these are the main differences. When I said that I am the type of, maybe I'm not the family person, although like I love my family, we are traveling now with my family, you are meeting my family. My friends are the family that literally I chose, and I live the life with them like I would live with my family. We trust each other, so we kind of build a community.
This is really cool, and I've seen a survey recently that I think it was 1 in 5 men reports that they don't have a single friend. And this is something that's really like really difficult, I think, for a lot of men out there who say that they don't have a single friend. And then here you have a whole community of supportive friends, and it shows how important it also is for your own mental support, you know, to have these people around you, to have someone that you can turn to that you can, yeah, vent or just tell what's going on in your life, you know, when you're struggling as well, that are there for you in good times and bad times. Yeah, that's also something that we're trying to create here on the podcast, a community where men can tune in and see that it is okay to have these type of relationships. It is okay to open up, to share your story, to ask for support, to take support. So this is something that we're trying with the podcast, but also with the events we're organizing. Yeah, that's why I'm so interested to hear as well, like how you're maintaining these friendships, etc. And also maybe to show, I mean, we've met in 2016 and now it's 2025. And so like almost 10 years later, and we didn't see each other that much in between. I mean, in the beginning more because you were in Europe, but yeah, we were like in touch once in a while. And now like I also took a leap of faith because I don't know how the situation is going to be in Brazil. I don't know your family. I don't know your friends. I don't know like how it's going to be, but I just booked this ticket. Okay, I'm going to stay 2 months in Brazil with these guys and see what happens. But inside myself, I knew that I could trust and it would be fine and we'd have a good time. And yeah, it would be like an experience that I would remember for the rest of my life.
Why do I have this group? Why do I have this community? Why it's easier for me? What was the action that I took towards like having this group, the support group? And the first question, it was like about my history itself. So I think that partially it's because I am a gay man. I'm not, I have no doubt that's easier for me because of how stereotypes are set and how I feel more sensible towards opening myself and being vulnerable because life was a bit hard in such a sense. So I understood very early that it would be very tough to go throughout life without support, okay? So since my family could not be out there taking care of me, and that sometimes for like most of the gay people, gay guys, or any person part of LGBTQ community, home is not that safe. Like, so you have to find support outside, okay? It's not 100% of my case, but still, in the beginning, it's always hard. So I had to find people outside of my house. I had to find support somewhere else to go throughout life, okay? So I would say that the first answer why I do have my community is that it was as a good human being, as an animal, my instinct is for survival. And in order to survive, I had to build my community. Because sometimes I didn't find the support where it should be, that was like inside my house. Although I have an amazing mother, sometimes was not enough. And I left my house pretty early, and because of my relationship with my father mainly. And this, I was not every day in my parents' house. So I needed to build this type of space and create this type of connection. First, it was easier in the beginning with women. So my first group of friends, it was women because of the point that like first, guys, usually, straight guys would not open themselves. It's one fact. The second one, it was like because some guys thinks that a gay friend would only be next to them because they are interested in their body. It's not true. Like lower your expectations, and more than that, I think that sometimes you should study the self-esteem of the straight man, because baby, you are not the last cookie on the package, okay? But the fact is, with time, I could find guys as well, because I felt the need of like being close friends with men that would be going through different experiences that I was. I would not fully understand also and deeply understand the problems of my girlfriends as well. So it was important that I would say that I am in a different position from this man that answered the survey with this question, because life made it necessary. So in order to survive, I had to build this community, and like hopefully other people can now start to rethink their lives and start to building this community without going through these experiences that I've been, because it's very worth it, you know. So, and a good thing is like in your family you didn't choose your family, but when I say that you choose your friends, you literally choose. You choose the type of routine that you can have with them. You agree in the type of relationships that you're gonna have with them. You can choose like different personalities, so you can balance things that you don't have on your own or you need in your own. So, and you can match this throughout your life and choose these people as well. So this is something that I really advise like people to do, to look forward, like, and to look outside of this space that they are and try to connect with people, because there are people that want to connect, like, and there are people that want to share and to wants to be part of your life, and that's something that's pretty amazing.
Super powerful. Yeah, so for anyone out there who is feeling alone and like they do not have friends, there is hope and there is people out there who want to connect. I think a lot of times it's also just picking ourselves up from where we are and going out there to events, to communities, just speak to people on the streets, you know? Like, and now we're also going to like ability to be rejected, I think, because a lot of times you don't immediately find your group of people, or you might get rejected or someone's not interested, you know. And the fear of rejection is, I think, holding us back before we even start to find friends a lot of times. You already opened up a bit about your story on being a gay man and also how that impacted you when you were like growing up and like forced you in a way to build this community of friends around you to support. Is that the story that defines you the most in life, or is there also something else that you would say this story is what made me who I am today, or this story really tells who I am? Or yeah, maybe it also kind of tells something about your mental health journey, you know? Because I'm also sure you also went through some really dark times.
I'm very complex. Every single human is too complex to find like what's the main thing that that define you. But for sure, like my sexuality, it's something that's a root. I would say that like there are three groups that like are my I would say like the foundation that I have myself. First of all was like the way that I was raised, because my parents are very different. My mother is like very supportive and she's a very loving and caring person. So like she's amazing. My father is a tough guy. Education and excellence was something that he was always making sure that we were like paying attention to.
Like a really high performer.
Yeah. So, for example, since he didn't have the opportunity to have proper education and stuff like that, he would not accept less than excellent from us. And it was too much. Back then, I would say that was bad, but looking from like to nowadays perspective, it shaped one of my core values. Like I do not start something that I'm not committed 100% in deliver my very, very best. Okay. So, but in another hand, what's the difference? Because my father, in the end of the day, taught me how to be a good professional. Okay. My mother, on the other hand, taught me to be a person who cares. Okay. So I would say that the family, this family basis, gave me this like part of me that's really important, because defines me a bit. That's like my work style and the way that I choose my career path and so on. Because this made me a very good HR. Like I care about people. I genuinely care about people. But in another hand, I care to be a very good professional and deliver business results. Okay, so this is a perfect mixture of like how my mother and my father raised me. So this is one important foundation, because for a long time, I thought what defining me was my work. The second one, I would say that's my sexuality, because as a gay man, I always felt, and I think that other people that are like from minority groups would feel the same. I have to prove myself a little bit more than others had to.
What do you like mean by that, or do you have an example?
Yeah. So, for example, uh, be a very good pharmacist was not enough. I had to be a very good pharmacist. I had to be an excellent pharmacist. So my sexuality would not be a thing to be discussed throughout my expertise. Okay, I'll give an example from work. Um, One day, I was already HR responsible for one area in one company, and we were discussing regarding the strategy for diversity, the diversity calendar, and for like the month that we had the gay parade in Brazil and so on. And we were having some actions in different organizations. We all do this, like it's very common in Brazil in June, that we celebrate this diversity and so on. And I was talking to one person, one director, and he said, Juan, I don't want to talk to the gay person. I want to talk to the HR director. And why this is terrible? Why this was so aggressively bad? This was very aggressive because it's just not possible to separate the gay one and the professional one. And my answer to him was very clear, I'm sorry, my sexuality, you have nothing to do with it. And unfortunately, you are only able to talk with this one person. You know, like the person the professional that you are talking, it was shaped by a history that made me come to here. And I do not admit that my, how to say it in English? I do not admit that you judge my competence of taking decisions because of my sexuality. And that's something, it's a huge bias that people have, because I mean, you have women that like are deeply attached to Marxist history, and they are pretty sexist. And you also have gay men that are kind of homophobic. It's not because of that you would make or say good things or bad things or whatever. But I had to work the double to prove that I was seated there, not because of a policy that was made for like diversity and inclusion. I had to work like the double in order to ensure that my sexuality would not be put in front of my competence. So this was something that I felt throughout all my career, and not only in the corporate world, in the third sector that we came from as well. Like there were times that I felt that because I was too happy, I was too outgoing. I was always an outgoing person. You know me, like for a long time. And it was not because of my sexuality. I'm just a very happy person. And some people thought that I was not serious enough to be seated where I was seated, just because I was too outgoing, you know? Because, if you are like the president of an organization, have to kind of have a serious shape. No, you don't. You don't. You just have to be yourself, you know? And throughout my career, I just felt it, like I have to prove myself. And this was very complex, just adding it to my mental health. I will go back this to the end, because the third element, so the first was my family, the second I would say that my sexuality, and the third, it's like the way that I see life. Life for me, it's just like there is no reason to complicate things. And I feel that for a long time I was very able to express it, like in being just happy and don't care about what people are saying, thinking, or like doing it. The recent years, it's been a bit harder to keep it and to hold it, like this happiness, this good energy, and so on. Because I was struggling with my mental health, and it's impossible to show happiness to the outside if you're not good in the inside. These three pillars were the three as well that uh, fucked me up a lot in terms of mental health. When it comes to mental health and the family pillar, like, I mean, it's really hard when you cannot be yourself in your own house. So you have to be in control 100% of time. How you act, how you talk, what you say, what you share. Like, because sometimes your parents are just not ready to receive it because it's very different from the way that they were raised or the culture, the religion. So I, since I remember, although I just came out like with 19 years old, since I remember, I was always in control. That's why I'm a bit control freak. Second, when it comes to my sexuality itself, it was very stressful to always be watching, like at school and at work, how do I express myself? What can I say? Can I talk about my personal life or not? Am I being too, or no? And this was so hard to manage. So hard to manage. So much energy and effort on that. And the third, regarding the way that I see life, it was really disappointing when you get to the real world and you see that some people just don't care. Don't care. Like they think that you are faking it. They think that you can't simply be happy and open and honest, that you are trying to get something from them, and that's also stressful. And when you have all of this combined, I saw myself at some point when I was really struggling. And not struggling like because I was gay. No, not struggling because my father had a hard time accepting it. I was just struggling because I was trying to do all of this at the same time and be a good professional, be a good son, be a good for everyone, and I was not being good to myself. And then my friends were really important because I saw myself tired. I saw a moment that I actually had a burnout and I was diagnosed with a burnout. And I was a person that, and I saw that something was really wrong because I was this type of person that was really passionate about life. I was always like that. I'm always saying yes to a life. And I decided that I wanted to die. So there was this clear day. I remember the day, the taste, the smell, that I just thought like, yeah, maybe it's easier if I die. Like, no problems, nothing, no money issues, no family issues. Like, it's just die. That's it. And then I realized like at the same time that I thought this was like, wait, something's wrong. Something's wrong because the human, the animal inside me, is think it's for survival. Something is wrong. Then I went to a psychiatrist, but then I was already fucked up. So I was already with like some huge symptoms, so I could not articulate one single sentence from the beginning to the end. So I would start to talk to a person, and I was just like, "Bloop, forget. Forget what I was saying, forget what I was doing it. And then I had this group of friends that you met, Walter, Dani, they took me, Bruno, they took me, they put me in a car, they sent me to, they went with me to a very small city in middle of nowhere, middle of the winter, south of Brazil, for me to not expose myself. So I had not to deal with people, I had not to work, to make a call. They were taking care of my mental health, but also protecting me from myself and protecting me from the judgment of other people. And I remember to have a huge fear to not go back because my mind was really important for me in a sense that I want to be with people, be present. I want to be smart again. I remember to think this, like, I want to be smart again. And it took me like 6, 7 months to get okay-ish in terms of like thinking. I had no suicide thoughts anymore because I was really taking care. I was going to the psychiatrist, psychologist. I was doing all these things. But it took me like 2.5 years to the tiredness that I had to go away. And I just feel that sometimes it comes back a bit, but I was just able to go through it because of this specific group of friends. Like they did it all. They managed all. So of course, when I had conditions, it was on me to take it forward from there and to start to like do some activities and start to like meditate and stuff like this, start a routine that was healthier. But in the moment that I could not take care of myself, they were the ones doing it. So I'm very grateful for it. Yeah, it was a long answer, but I think that I could cover all.
Maybe for the listeners to know, we only have one microphone today, so we're like trying to make the best out of it. Thank you so much for explaining all this and sharing so much about your world. Yeah, it really also goes to show how much it's like building a community around you when you're doing okay, you know, how much that can then support you later on when you're not doing okay. And then you can like go back to those people, or those people will come and make sure that they're there for you.
You never know when you're gonna need it, you know? So that's important.
100%. Yeah, thank you so much. And especially also for opening up about your suicidal thoughts. You told me this, I think, a week ago for the first time. So yeah, thanks again for opening up about this as well. I think that's really brave, and something that I think a lot of people have, but not a lot of people talk about. And I think talking about these things more also really helps and shows that, yeah, it's not only your struggle, there's other people and you can find help. One thing I found also very interesting is when you said that you went to the psychiatrist, you were already fucked up. Yeah, it sounded like it was actually too late to go there. And this is also one of the messages that we like to push, that go to a therapist early. Like, you don't even have to have a problem to go there. Like, you can just talk, and you know, it will be like going to your yearly doctor visit or going to the gym, you know, like a routine type of thing, just to like check in with yourself, you know. Wow, where do we go next? Let me just calm down for a second. Most of our listeners from the podcast are from the Netherlands, from Western Europe, we have a little bit in Asia. We also have quite some in the US, North America, but it's all like this Western type countries. So since you lived in Croatia as well and you've seen a lot of Europe, what do you think is something that people from the Western world can learn from, like the warmer countries like Brazil, South America in general, like from like culturally and mindset wise, maybe whatever direction you want to take this?
Very good question. Don't make plans to fight. Make plans to go to the beach. Like, that's it. Try to take it as a metaphorical thinking. Because like we had no war in Brazil, basically. Like, we have a violent country because of a lot of issues that we have regarding like politics and so on. Like a lot of countries, different issues and so on. But we had never had a major war in our territory. And I was talking to my friend and I asked her, why do you think that's something? Like, of course, the geographic location, blah, blah, blah. But then we came to a conclusion that we were very worried of what would we do for Christmas, what we would do for like Carnival, when we would spend our next summer, planning to go to the beach, planning to go to make a barbecue and so on. We were too much in our social life that we had no time for war and fighting. And why I say that? Because the biggest difference that I see in the way that we live in Brazil, in Latin America in general, not all countries, but in general, is that the moments that we are free, we want to enjoy ourselves, like with friends, not alone, to connect with people, and to forget our routine. And we just are intense on that. Really intense, sometimes too much. So when you are in the streets and we value the different things, you know, we do value. Example, You are walking the streets. You are an international. Most of people, at least here in Brazil, they will be very curious about who you are, what do you do, what do you come from, and it's not to take more money about you because you receive in euros. It's not because of that. It's because they are genuine. They genuinely care to know, and they are excited to get to know you, and they put so much effort to trying to communicate to you, although they don't speak English. They will put everything that they can in order for you to feel welcome, to feel understood. They want to understand you back, you know? They will not try to not communicate. They will not keeping silent because they do not speak English. Some people will, like my friend Ligia. So these things about Brazil makes like a huge difference from Europe. When I was there, depending on the country as well, but I just felt people are living too busy living their lives. How is the law saying like that? You are until you prove that you are convicted. You are
Until proven guilty.
yes. Until proven guilty, you are like você innocent. Innocent. Yes. It's the other way around. Like here, you are innocent until you're proven guilty. Sometimes I feel that some other places, you are guilty until you're proving that you were not guilty, you know? So I arrive in this place. I first do not trust you. Then you prove me that I can trust you. And here, I feel that's the other way around. Okay. Like, I trust you until if you prove me wrong, I will not trust you anymore. And that's something that also, I think that's a bit different. Like, we are a bit more, we take the feelings more like in a strong way, also in the other way around, okay? So, you arrive in my house. My father chose to trust you first. He was not like, should I trust him? Maybe he's guilty. Then he will prove yourself. No. This is, I think that this is the thing that's different. Here, we trust first and we judge after. We prefer to get disappointed than to not have the opportunity to get to know you fully. Out of here, I feel that's the opposite. I have to earn this space. You know? Yeah. That's for me, it's the twist.
Yeah, I can really relate, especially with the last thing you said, like he has to earn his place, so to say. When I switched high schools, I was 16, 15 years old. I went to a new class, had a fresh start. Actually, it was really good for me because I was like, he's like getting a little bit bullied as well in my previous high school. So my parents decided, okay, we're going to move. And I was like, yes, nice, I got a fresh start, you know? And then I arrived in this class, I didn't give a shit, you know? I knew that what I had to do not to become, again, like this bullied person and stuff like this. And some of it was also just like going in with trust and just being confident. Because I think as a kid, if you're showing that you're not confident and you don't believe in yourself, it's even easier to bully you and like, you know? And but then I was in this new class, and then there was this one guy, and we became good friends later, but in the beginning, he was like, you were super weird, etc. And then after a few weeks, I was like talking to another guy, and he told me, yeah, that guy said that the new guy first has to earn his place in the class, you know? And this is like, that's why I could really relate. And I was just like, fuck that guy, you know? Because I was like, no, man, like, no, I'm fine. I know that I'm fine. I know that I have a space here and I know who I am, so I was not worried by that. But like this is the kind of attitude a lot of times. Also with like all over Europe at the moment, also in the US with like immigrants, etc. They're like, oh yeah, there's immigrants, you know. They're only accepted, and my dad was one of these guys as well, when they become a doctor and they help the society and like this, you know. But no one looks at their history, where they came from, who they actually are, what amazing people these people are, and what kind of amazing things they can also bring to a new place, you know. Yes. So yeah, I can relate. So like like for everyone listening to this, like put a leap of faith and trust people more. Smile when you're walking around. Like try to spread some positivity and not to like judge too hard.
And come to Brazil.
And come to Brazil, take a master class with Ruan. Amazing. The last question I have for you is a question that we ask everyone who comes on the podcast, because one of our missions is also to redefine what it means to be a man. Yeah, what would you say is a healthy man? What makes a healthy man?
When I discover, I will come back here and tell you all what I am trying to do to be a healthy man, okay? To listen my body, to listen my gut, because this changed a lot of things, like regarding the way that I perceive to my physical health, and that everybody's running, fuck you, like I don't like to run, but I really like to swim. I don't like to be like doing this walking the nature. I really don't. But I really like to go to the beach. And when I started to look to myself instead of looking to the trends, like I started to be healthier, because I don't know for you that's listening to me that all your friends suddenly start to become runners and everyone runs a marathon and everyone wants to do like this CrossFit thingy. Like, I don't know how this is for you, but for me it's like shit, because I really hate running. It's like, for me, like terrible. My back hurts. I have a problem with my back, but not only because of that, it's just like don't find pleasant. I started to listen what matters for me and what connects me with myself. And I started to be able to choose better the activities for me, what connects me to myself. I started to learn that I am not my work. Did something really important that it would change it a lot, my perspective, because for a long, long time, I thought I was the value I was creating, and it was not that. Like, I am not the value I'm creating. I am the person that is interacting through the world while creating some impact or not. So this made me a healthier person. Like, I would say self-consciousness. Like, so it was not going to the gym. It was not eating better. No, it was not of this. This was the consequence of like this understanding that I started to have. I'm still not there. I'm sure that I'm still not there. I'm 100% sure. I still have to learn more how to access like my certain feelings. Sometimes I'm just very angry. Sometimes I'm just very stressed. I'm just like too much. I'm still too much sometimes. This is still something that I have to work on. I'm very reactive, you know. So you've been seeing like these past days, sometimes I'm a very talkative person, and the other day I just don't want to talk. And like I'm going through this moment of like trying to find a balance towards my feelings. But yes, I think that's also part of this inner journey, and that allowed me to be a healthier man. I want to separate the question because this is a very important thing that touched me when we were talking the other day when we were in the car. This is for me a healthy man, a man that has the possibility and the ability to have this inner journey and know what's good for himself. But what's a man? For me, a man is a person that just have the awareness that he's part of, that he's not the center, that he's not on the edge, he's just part of the system. Like, he's part of this society, he's part of this ecosystem, like he's just part of. And why this is something that's really important for me, and I always thinking, it's because sometimes we give ourselves so much importance, we put ourselves so much in center of things, like that this is also heavy, that this makes you with a lot of responsibility that you don't even have, but this also takes you from a place of community. We are just part of. We are not the center of something. And this would take out the weight also of the back of some people, you know? You don't have to be the center of your house. You don't have to carry all the weight of carrying the whole responsibility for your family. You don't have to be the man of the house. You can just be a part of the house. And these are things that, for example, if my father learned, I think that he would be a happier man, although he's from another generation. And I think that our generation is disconstructing, like disconstructing this, that we are more, in a sense of like a more a community individuals. So yeah, and that's it.
I love how you like just took it to so many places, the answer to this question.
Yes, I don't have focus.
That's amazing. Yeah, some of the things you said, listening to your body, how you don't like running. Love it, because we talk about running a lot on this podcast. Like,
No, if you're listening, you don't feel like connected. So I'm here to say you have something else to do.
this is also it. Like, I like running, Surush likes running. We did like Movember running challenges with our whole team, but some people from our team also did walking challenges because they didn't want to run or they couldn't run for health reasons. And you can also do swimming, you can do yoga. I think what's important, and this is something I wish everyone in 2025 for this new year, to try out different things and figure out what it is that you like as a physical routine, because I think that's also really important next to our mental health. The part about being a part of, that's really interesting to me. And I think once you actually take this narrative of I am a part of this household or this community, then you can look inside yourself and see what kind of qualities do I bring to this community, right? Instead of just saying, okay, I'm a man, I need to lead, I need to be strong, I need to be loud. No, now you're looking at, okay, maybe I am not the loudest, I'm not the strongest, I'm not the leader all the time. You know, I have different qualities. And then you can bring these different qualities and detach a little bit this masculine, feminine from the gender of being a man, you know? And I think that's really beautiful. And then you also, I think then the whole community also adapts, because if you bring certain skills to the table, then another man or another woman or a child or whoever is there then also brings other skills to the table, and you can complement each other and, like, you know, live both your masculine and female energies and all the things that you bring to the table, instead of just the ones that are like desired from the typical man, you know?
Since you are like finishing, what are you bringing to this community, Heart Wide Open, for 2025?
Oh, nice one. For 2025, yeah, so we're actually looking at a lot of ways how we can improve this podcast. So
No, Dennis, that's not the question. Since you are part of this community, as a awesome person, man, part of this environment, what's the uniqueness of yourself that you are giving to these people that are listening to us in the next year?
Yeah, to be a space for everyone, for men, for women, for everyone who wants to talk about mental health, to be really be themselves and live their truth, be authentic, and really connect more to themselves. Like, I think this is also something that you talked about, like helping people to listen more to themselves, because I think all the solutions and all the needs are already inside our bodies. And that can be movement related, that can be like connecting to other people in a community, that can be opening up to another person about something. So yeah, we just want to, with the podcast, but also I myself, I just want to open more of these spaces. And then that can be through conversations here or through events. We want to run a retreat this summer where people can join and like explore this more. I think that's for 2025, a lot of exciting things coming. But like the center of it is that we want to feel like, we want to make people feel like there is a home here for them. There's a place where they can just be, and that's welcome whoever they are. You know, it's okay, like away from judgment, away from like not feeling connected or feeling like an outsider. It's okay to feel alone once in a while, but like you're welcome here in whatever way. Thank you for also asking me this question. Is there anything that you would like to leave or wish to our listeners that is listening right now, wherever they are, either for this very moment, for the day they are listening to this episode, or for the year of 2025?
Let's be practical, okay? So be honest to people this year, okay? Have a bit of faith. Try to trust. Drink water. And plant some trees, okay? That's something that you can do. Be honest to yourself. Do not put some goals that you're just lying to yourself, okay? Just let's be realistic. Yeah, and if you need some advice regarding a good trip to Brazil, just let me know. I will help you. And I hope that you follow, subscribe, and share the word of this beautiful podcast and make me famous across Europe as well. That's it.
Yes.
Thank you very much, dear, for having me here. Congratulations on your work with this podcast. I think that's something that's really beautiful, the way that you take it forward. Something that I really appreciate on you since we met. It's the way that you look towards life and this. There is a word in Portuguese that now I forgot, but like this naive way. It's naive. I think it's naive the word, but it's beautiful. Like it's so pure, the way that the naive way, the naive thinking that you can change the world, you know, but in a sense not bad, in a sense that like you look in a way that's so pure that like you give yourself and you commit to yourself in order to serve. And that's really beautiful. And apart from all the judgment and like, oh, if it's like something that's huge or it's small, if you are impacting one person, it's you are there, you are doing it. And I saw this do the past 2 months. You working throughout the night to edit videos, to like prepare content, and waking up at the Europe time in order to post the videos. And it was beautiful. Like it was really, really nice to see that the core things that made me to admire you a few years ago. And going back to the first question that we have had here, are still there in a different channel, in a different way, but they are there. And that's really, really, really beautiful. The way that you talk with passion towards your projects and the way that you are trying to make people realize their power and their possibilities. That's like very, very beautiful. And I hope that you keep it in this way. Like you keep believing that you can, that sometime like you're gonna reach more and more people. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for you all to listening us. And that's it.
Thank you so much for your kind words. Oh my God, they just started working here. Thank you so much for this. Like from the bottom of my heart, it's been really cool to have you on this format as well. I have to say, I've been searching for something like what we're doing now with Hearts Wide Open. I've been searching for that for a few years actually, and it took some time to find it. But I'm extremely happy that you see those qualities from when we met come back today as well on this project, and that just makes me feel that I'm also on the right path. So thank you for this little reflection. That's also why it's cool to check in with people like in different phases of their lives to see like from a different lens, you know what I mean? Thank you so much for tuning in as well. You will find the link to Ruan's Instagram and LinkedIn as well. If you're looking for an HR director, he's your man. But also a boyfriend as well. Yeah, we've been joking a lot about this in the past days. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. If you want to see what he's up to in his daily life, follow him on Instagram and give a shout out to the podcast. Share us with your friends, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much. Bye bye.